know what'll get there. I'd like to do a 10 million pool next year. See, I think it's going to be a lot easier to get money, sponsors, all this stuff. We proved it. Year 2, you really prove it, and then you got something. I've invited 2 people so far. They both said yes. I don't know how serious the yeses are. Caitlin said yes. Kaya Trump said yes. Those are my 2 that I've asked. Whether push comes to shove and those 2 are available.
Caitlin Clark has just accepted a multi-million-dollar offer from Dave Portnoy. And you can bet the WNBA is in full panic mode. Portnoy invited her to his massive Internet Invitational golf tournament, and Clark said yes. Now, this isn't some small-time charity event. We are talking about a tournament that pulls in 20 to 25 million views and could have a $10 million prize pool next year. While the WNBA is busy fumbling the bag, trying to figure out how to market their biggest star ever, Portnoy swooped in and locked her down for next year. So here's what many of you have been saying in the comments for weeks. Should Caitlin Clark keep building her brand outside of basketball, or should she be laser focused on just the WNBA? Because what we're watching right now is a masterclass in recognizing value, and it's not coming from the league that employs her. If you believe the story behind the story matters, smash that like button. It tells us we're on the right track. Let's filter out the noise and break down exactly what just went down, because the shockwaves from this are bigger than most people realize. Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports, has been turning his Internet Invitational into a media juggernaut. This isn't your grandpa's celebrity golf scramble. Portnoy teamed up with Bob Does Sports, and together they've created an event that gets viewership numbers that most professional sports leagues would absolutely kill for. When Portnoy was asked if he's planning to make next year's tournament even bigger, his answer was immediate. Every year gets bigger. And then he dropped the bombshell that probably has WNBA executives scrambling. He's only invited 2 people so far for next year, and both said yes, Caitlin Clark and Kaya Trump. Now, Portnoy admits he doesn't know how serious those yeses are yet, but the fact Clark even agreed tells you everything you need to know about her strategy moving forward. The prize pool he's aiming for next year? A staggering $10 million. And here's the part that should terrify the WNBA. If Caitlin Clark actually shows up, sponsors are going to be throwing money at this thing. Her presence alone guarantees a massive audience and non-stop media coverage. The same kind of presence the WNBA seems hell-bent on completely undervaluing. You were onto something when you noticed how different organizations treat Clark. This whole thing kicked off at the Annika Pro-Am, where Clark shattered attendance and viewership records. The LPGA rolled out the red carpet for her, treating her like royalty. And the contrast with how the WNBA has treated her couldn't be more stark. You better believe Dave Portnoy was watching. He saw those numbers, felt that energy, and made his move. The absolute beauty of Portnoy's approach is that he gets something the WNBA just can't seem to wrap its head around. You don't wait for stars to find you. You go after them. You offer them a platform that matches their value, and you make them feel wanted. The WNBA has spent months letting Clark get physically hammered on the court with almost zero protection or real marketing support. Portnoy watched her play golf once and immediately locked her in for his next huge event. That's the difference between an organization that understands star power and one that takes it for granted. Let's connect the dots here. Portnoy's tournament pulled in 20 to 25 million views. For comparison, most WNBA games struggled to even hit 1 million viewers this past season. Portnoy is getting 10 times the engagement with a golf tournament, and now he's adding the biggest name in women's basketball to the mix. The math here is absolutely brutal for the WNBA. Their biggest star is generating more buzz playing golf with the founder of Barstool Sports than she does playing in their own league. That's not on Clark. That is a marketing failure of historic proportions. They were handed a generational talent, and what did they do? They let other players target her while the league mumbled about competitive play. Meanwhile, every other organization, from the LPGA to Dave Portnoy, sees her value and treats her like the golden goose she is. And get this, the story has another fascinating layer. Sophie Cunningham was a caddy at that same Pro-Am, and people noticed she has a surprisingly good golf swing. Now, on her podcast, she announced that she's planning to take golf more seriously, inspired by Clark's passion for the game. She even said, "I think me, her, and Lexi are going to go and play a little bit more," hinting at 3 Indiana Fever teammates bonding over golf in the off-season. Imagine that. Building chemistry and creating content that expands their brand far beyond the WNBA's reach. Reading between the lines reveals something crucial about the modern athlete. Your career is short. Injuries are a constant threat, and public attention fades. You have to build your brand while you're hot, and Clark is on fire right now. Golf is the perfect play. It has massive crossover appeal. It's low risk for injuries. It opens up new audiences, and it connects her with powerful people. Most importantly, it's authentic. You can tell she genuinely loves it, and that's something brands can't fake. This entire situation shows how athlete brand building works today. It's not about staying in your lane. It's about creating multiple streams of income and influence, and partnering with people who actually recognize your value. The WNBA's relationship with Clark should be a two-way street, but right now she's providing all the value while the league gives almost nothing back. Now, some people will argue that Clark should just focus on basketball, but those people don't understand how the game has changed. Now let me ask you this. If you had the chance to partner with someone who valued you correctly versus an organization that consistently undervalues you, what would you do? Drop your answer in the comments, because I want to know if you think Clark is making the right moves here. Dave Portnoy has openly said that if Caitlin Clark wanted to start her own league, he would give her whatever she wanted. He believes she could put the WNBA out of business if she chose to. That's not just talk. That's a businessman who understands market dynamics, looking at the situation and seeing what the WNBA refuses to acknowledge. Clark has more leverage than the league wants to admit. But here's what's fascinating about Portnoy's analysis. He recognizes that Clark probably won't leave the WNBA. She has State Farm, Nike, Gatorade. These are blue-chip brands that value stability and mainstream appeal. Clark is like Tom Brady in that sense. She very rarely, if ever, publicly says anything that causes waves. She's been a good trooper for the Fever and for the league. She wants to make the WNBA work because she grew up dreaming about playing in it. That loyalty is admirable, but it's also being exploited. The WNBA knows Clark won't leave, so they don't have to treat her like the franchise-altering talent she is. They can let her get roughed up on the court, underpay her compared to her value, and drag their feet on marketing initiatives, all while banking on the fact that she'll stick around anyway. That's not a partnership. That's taking advantage. And Portnoy sees it clearly. He points out that the league keeps talking about how they haven't made money for 15 or 20 years, but that doesn't matter in negotiation. What matters is now. What matters is that television ratings are up, media deals are being signed, and there's actual momentum for the first time in the league's history. You have to take advantage of it now. That's how business works. The Nike deal comparison is absolutely devastating when you break it down. The WNBA and Nike are paying Devin Booker $40 million a year. Caitlin Clark is getting around $8 million. In what universe does that make sense? Devin Booker plays for the Phoenix Suns, a team that hasn't won a championship in its entire existence. Meanwhile, Clark is literally changing the trajectory of an entire league, bringing in new fans, spiking ratings much, and creating cultural moments, and she's getting paid a fifth of what Booker gets. Portnoy wrote an article the instant Clark signed that Nike deal, saying it was the dumbest thing he'd ever seen. He wished he was her agent because she got absolutely screwed. And looking back now, he was right. When her signature shoe comes out, we're going to see sales numbers that dwarf what most male athletes generate. But the deal was already signed at a massive discount. Connecting the dots reveals a disturbing pattern. The WNBA's financials are deliberately convoluted. Everything is mixed in with NBA numbers, making it nearly impossible to figure out what the league is actually making or losing. And that's by design. It's in the owners' interest not to reveal the true numbers if they're going up, because then they'd have to pay the players more. Television ratings are surging. Media deals are being signed. Merchandise is flying off shelves. But somehow, the narrative is still that the league is struggling. Many of you have been saying this for weeks, and the evidence keeps piling up. The players have lost faith in Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. They see what's happening. They see Clark getting battered without adequate protection. They see the revenue numbers contradicting the poverty narrative. They see other organizations like the LPGA and Barstool Sports recognizing Clark's value while their own league fumbles the bag. Every record Clark breaks at a golf event is a painful reminder of what the WNBA is missing out on.
What the league did 10 years ago or 5 years ago, that doesn't matter, and that doesn't matter in any negotiation. It's like, well, we haven't made money for 15 years, 20 years, or whatever. That doesn't matter. It is now, like it is now, and you have to take advantage of it now, and that's how it works. So you never know, because she is in the middle, and commissioners are always in the middle, and commissioners are always going to take the brunt of what the owners don't want to feel. And who even knows what the real numbers are? Like when they came out, well, the owners, it's all mixed in with the WNBA, the NBA. It's super convoluted to actually figure out how much they're making, how much they're losing, and it's in the owner's interest not to really have the true numbers if they're going up. But just the television ratings and all the media deals. I wrote an article when Caitlyn signed her Nike deal. Like instantly, I'm like, this is the dumbest. I wish I was her agent. Like, she got screwed, and she did. If you look back at it, like the power of her, and when her shoe comes out, like we'll see what the sales are. They're paying Devin Booker, I think, $40 million a year.
Yeah, I think Caitlyn's like getting 8, right?
In what universe is Devin Booker worth $40 million a year and Caitlyn's worth 8? It's insane. So it's all there, it's all up, and they're not taking advantage of it. And clearly the players have lost faith.
Portnoy proved that the market for Caitlin Clark is bigger than basketball, and he's ready to pay for it. While the league is still trying to figure out the basics of marketing their own star, Portnoy locked her in with one conversation. He saw her play golf once and immediately understood her value extended far beyond the court. The WNBA has had Clark for an entire season and still doesn't get it. They had the opportunity to build an empire around her, and instead they let jealousy, politics, and outdated thinking get in the way. Now she's building her empire elsewhere, one golf tournament at a time, one endorsement deal at a time, one strategic partnership at a time. Here's what this all means moving forward. Clark is showing other WNBA players the blueprint. You don't have to wait for the league to recognize your value. You can build your brand outside of basketball. You can partner with people who actually understand what you bring to the table. You can create multiple revenue streams that don't depend on a league that chronically undervalues women's sports. If this breakdown showed you why Caitlin Clark keeps winning outside the WNBA while the league keeps losing, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Because we're going to keep following this story as it develops. And trust me, it's about to get even more interesting. Next up, we're going to break down the CBA negotiations and why the players' union is preparing for war with the league. You won't want to miss that. Until next time, keep reading between the lines.